Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I am hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a long-range outlook. I've done niggers. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a long-range outlook. I haven't done one in a while, like an official one. I've done, I guess, pattern updates. We were talking about the cold winter storm updates for the past week and a half, and right now it's occurring across the country. I will not be doing more. I mean, basically what I had to say is what I had to say. The snow is going to occur across northern Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, produce lots of snow, 5 to 8 inches possibly. So you could check your weather service about that or check my other videos. But today we'll be talking about the possible record cold that will be just continuing across the country, bringing way below average temperatures across much of the country. And it will really be bringing temperatures down, I mean, significantly. This could be one of the coldest time frames in our of the season, and I mean November will just seems to be very cold, at least the first half. So if you like these type of videos, consider subscribing to this channel, consider liking this video. I really do appreciate when you guys consider doing that, consider doing that and then actually commit to it and do it. It really means a lot. If you like the video, it gets out to more people when you like the video, so consider doing that as well. Leaving a nice comment also helps as well. So right now let's look at the Gfs model. Let's start off by looking at the very beginning. We have that again that winter storm across the country. It's bringing very chilly temperatures, but along with it a little bit of snow across Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin. Maybe not seeing much more out of it, but they had their fair share a couple days ago. Des Moines, Iowa, maybe seeing a few flurries at this time. Not seeing much more, maybe an inch tops. Chicago really could get in on this. Northwest suburbs around 4 to 6 inches, possibly even higher. Michigan getting in as well. The Northeast not really seeing much out of it. Then we see a big blast come Friday, Saturday with a little bit of flurries, scattered flurries across northern Illinois and into Wisconsin and into Michigan. So that could really bring some light snow showers, but definitely cold. I mean, you could see the 540 line millibar thickness, which is basically where the 32 degree line occurs. It's way down here by the Tennessee area. Not the lowest we've seen this year, but definitely probably prompting some frost advisories and some freeze warnings. Notice you may be thinking, okay, so that passes through and we're going to be on a warm-up. Well, guess what? There's another low pressure and another high pressure that drives yet another blast of cooler air. Maybe not as far south, but central Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, possibly not even getting out of the 32 degree line during the day. This is already next Thursday, next Wednesday. I mean, you could see that it's been already a week and we haven't seen much relief. Here's the date, by the way. I could zoom in even more if you want. Right there's the date, Wednesday, November 6th. And if you were to look at this, notice how potentially another storm system the GFS is showing. And now, this is very far out, and will this actually occur? We don't know. The GFS last time did a very poor job with this system that's happening right now. So we're going to all take it with a grain of salt, especially when it's, 200 hours out, I think, at this point. If not even more, 180, so fairly far out, nothing too ridiculous. I mean, I think there will be some sort of system. We're definitely watching it. Doesn't seem too major at this point, but notice quite a bit of severe weather, possibly in heavy rain across the south, while possibly delivering some first snow into even parts of coastal Northeast. Doesn't seem at this point like a big snowmaker, but possibly maybe an inch or a coating across the Northeast. And then this is the latest Gfs model run, so it's still processing, only goes out to 264 hours at this time. And notice how some snow showers, a weak cold front is brought through Iowa, Wisconsin, and the cold yet again continues. Now let's look at some of these 2-meter temperature anomalies. I mean, all you will see is basically blue in the northern U.S. The exception is parts of the Florida Peninsula, southern Florida, and parts of the Southwest will be seeing above average conditions. However, much of the rest of the U.S. will be seeing some below average conditions. So if you look at this, notice how we could be looking at some very below average conditions. I mean, you could see Colorado, Wyoming, Utah. That's like the hot spot of very below average conditions, because not only that's where the cold air will be centered the most, but that's also where they had a snowpack. I mean, they have insane snowpack right now. Some locations 30-40 inches of snow, and that all reflects any warmth that the sun tries beaming down on the earth, so it makes things even colder, and some of the temperatures will be records there. But you know, it's not just confined to the Rockies. As you can see, this moves off into the eastern U.S., Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and this really spreads basically across the whole entire United States by this weekend. You can see Saturday, November 2nd, 2019. It's the whole weekend is in, the whole U.S. is in blue temperatures or blue colors, indicating below average temperatures. There's no such thing as blue temperatures, really. But you can see below average temperatures definitely occurring, maybe not as significant as it was, especially towards the Colorado area, but you know, still a healthy 5 to 8 degrees in terms of Celsius, so probably 12 to 15 degrees below average in terms of Fahrenheit. And you know, as soon as we thought this may be going away, we see a reinforcing shot next Tuesday. I mean, you can see a little bit of warmth gets in, possibly out ahead of a storm system or a few, and there's no really big storm system at this time, but you could see the Northeast may get spared the most out of this in terms of the cold temperatures, and maybe actually receiving some below average temperatures, including the Southwest seeing some below average temperatures. But look at this Wednesday, very, very chilly conditions across into the north central United States, into Maine, New York, into Pennsylvania, and then look, even possibly colder temperatures right here, with the trough digging down extremely far south into Texas, probably some first frost for many locations in the south. And again, this is the latest GFS model run, so it only goes out to 270 now. So let's look at the older GFS model run. You can still see, though, pretty same story, below average temperatures, and towards the end of the forecasting period, maybe things start letting up a little bit. But we've been constantly seeing the models reintroduce the cold air whenever we think it's gonna let up. They reintroduce, and this model run, if this were to, you know, so politely load, which I don't know if it will, introduces quite a bit of cold air towards the end as well, not indicating much of any relief at all. So this November may be known for its snow, for its cold, and overall winter conditions for the north and eastern U.S. And you may be thinking, well, this will, you know, cease at least in a couple of weeks. Well, I think this pattern will be recurring throughout most of winter. Again, like I stated a couple of videos ago, and throughout several videos, I think that December may have the biggest chance of being above average for the U.S., as we've seen in years past. But that does not mean that it will be necessary or will be snow-free. I think it will be, you know, maybe a little bit less cold in terms of the anomalies, but it may, you know, I mean, the introduction will be just straight into winter. And once it's December, even if it's above average at tops, you know, or we may be seeing temperatures that are October level if it's really above average. So I think, you know, the warm temperatures are done for the most of the year, and for the rest of the year for sure, but just for most of the country, excluding the Southeast and Florida, basically that's about it. And the Southwest, which may once in a while introduce itself into the eastern U.S., the warm air. Looking at the 6 to 10 day outlook, which is from the 5th through the 9th, so that's really from, so November 1st is Friday, so look about the beginning of next week through the ending of the next week, and you can see that basically it shows blue temperature, or blue colors, which indicate they're very high probability of being below average, and again, it's for a good portion of the country, excluding the Southwest and again, the Florida Peninsula. Florida. Precipitation above average for the north, which is actually surprising. Usually with cold air we see below average conditions, but this, you know, may mean quite a bit of snow for these locations if this continues to hold true. 8 to 14 day outlook, you could see much of the same story. Maybe the Southwest becoming a little bit more warm, but still have those blue colors across the southern or northern U.S. and expanding all the way into the east. So basically, everyone's getting a whole, you know, a handle, or sorry, a little taste of this cold air, below average air if you're east of the Rockies, other than, again, Florida, not even the Panhandle. Panhandle may see the cold air, not really just the peninsula itself. So I would also like to just show you some of the ensembles. There are basically a bunch of models combined that are similar to the GFS, but all of them have their own little crazy story behind them. And I want to show you, what are we on right now? Okay, let's stick to 2 meter temperature anomaly, and let's see if this could load for us politely. It will take a little while, but let's see if we could just run through this quickly. It's been a little bit slow today. We're expecting some snow. It's been raining. There's water all over the satellites. I mean, it's just a dreary day right now. This could, I mean, I'm looking out the window still, the last little glimmers of light outside the window. But the sun is setting behind the thicket of clouds, or the thick layer of clouds, and things are starting to cool down. We were in lower 40s. Now we're starting to get into upper 30s, and we're going to start seeing some snowflakes flying soon. Well, relatively speaking, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we will see some rain before that transitions to fully snow. So I gave you a little brief rundown of that, but now we have the models that actually wrote it, so that's good. We notice how, again, we have that first blast right now. This model doesn't even really show much of a break between the second one on Saturday. It does show a tiny one again, maybe before the next one midweek, but right before it, right, possible next little storm system forming across the U.S., and that could introduce even more cold air, maybe possibly letting up towards the end. But this is what the models usually do. They just have less bright colors because of the lack of confidence, not necessarily, lesser magnitude. In this case, they are showing lesser magnitude, but usually through observations, we could see that it's usually just lesser confidence. So, yeah, that's basically it, guys. I can show you the European as well. I mean, it's basically much of the same story. It only goes out to 240 hours. But if we were to look at the upper dynamics, 500 millibar height anomaly, you could anywhere you see the blue colors, that's kind of like a trough, and that's where the jet stream dips and introduces cold air. Let's wait for this to load. You can see this is the one that's occurring right now. Splits, a second one occurs this weekend, and then possibly it may be a little brief warm up. The European is saying for a couple of days before another one comes in next weekend. So this is just looking the same stuff over and over, kind of regurgitating the models, and we finally got into this cold pattern, which again I was saying already back, I remember in June and July and August, I was saying this November will be very, very, very cold, and I think it'll be very snowy. That's what I said. And guess what? Everybody laughed at me. They're like, how do you know that in July and August? I didn't really know it. It was an educated guess. I was predicting based on the ENSO, the warm waters off the Gulf of Alaska, and I mean, everything is coming together for a very, very accurate winter prediction this year. My forecast last year was not too accurate. I mean, if you remember, I called the coldest temperatures across the southeast, and that's really where they were the warmest. But this year, I'm pretty darn, I'm pretty darn confident in my forecast that it will be fairly accurate. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.